Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too, as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. Once upon a time, there was a tavern where we used to raise a glass or two. Remember how we laughed away the hours and think of all the great things we would do. Those were the days, my friend, we thought they'd never end. We sing and dance forever and a day. We live the life we choose, we fight and never lose. Those are the days, oh yes, those were the days. La 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 la. Yeah, those were the days. Those were the days I could play the right chords to the song. That's what we're doing. Okay. Anyhow, what happened to my camera? Did my camera just get all messed up here? It did. All right. Technical difficulties for a moment, and we're back. All right. So, for my journal writing friends, or those who like to do what I call elevate the conversation, whether in your own social network or with me, you know I love to talk about these things and share that with you. So if you send it over to me, I'll pong it back for sure. So, how do you hold yourself accountable to ensure success in accomplishing your goals? I want to hear, what is your way? What's your sankalpa? How do you match your intention and your will to make sure something happens? I'd like to know about that. Let me know. All right. My teacher, first and foremost, reminds me that maturity in yoga, not just dabbling, maturity in yoga gives you poise and peace through its variety of disciplines, whether they're ethical, physical, mental, or spiritual. Part of the game for me and any long-term practitioner in yoga, or probably any field, is figuring out ways to keep yourself turned on so your practice stays fresh and new. Do that over decades, it's kind of hard to do, but don't be so content with accomplishments along the way, how deeply you can go into the Cirque du Soleil poses, because from what I would consider the yogic point of view, which is the master's point of view, accomplishments are like froth on a wave. They look beautiful, but they're insubstantial. The real limits of yoga are not physical, they're mental. And you have to learn how to face up to the conditioned mind and the limitations it puts on you. And that's the real yogic path. How do you stay centered and calm and compassionate, clear? Now, I always say that relationships are the yoga of the West, and a lot of people might not want to commit to a relationship because they're afraid to lose themselves in relationship. That's possible, but really it's just the opposite. Relationship is where you can find the deeper parts of yourself, and you find out what you're capable of giving and receiving. It's a living, loving, learning lab. So be careful what you say, because words can be as demeaning and damaging to your friend or your spouse as your fists. So, rectification of society begins with rectification of language, so says Confucius. So be careful what you say. Now, we've all had things that have gone wrong. We've all had traumas. We've all had things that have burned us out. I call it the ashes in your life. Those are the things that didn't work. But you don't throw the ashes away. You recycle them into the garden. And every now and then, you have to look through the ashes. We used to have this Franklin stove in this place I lived in Tennessee. One pipe that would go from the bottom floor to the top floor. And you had to feed the wood into the stove. But after a certain amount of time, you couldn't put another piece of wood in there unless you cleaned out the ashes. Otherwise, you'd open it, you put the wood in, the ashes just go all over the place and makes a mess. Every now and then, you got to tend to the ashes. Keep the fire burning clean. So, as I'm approaching the last stage of my own life, I have to keep asking myself, is there still anything I want to experience and achieve? Personally, professionally? I don't know. Other people may have a bucket list, but that implies there's something else they want to do. I'm trying to find how to be fulfilled right here, right now, without the need to do anything, go anywhere, see anybody. And that's probably because when I was young, I learned to chase my passion instead of my pension. So there's a tip for my younger friends out there. Make sure you find the dream whose pursuit is self-energizing for an entire life, and then you'll never compromise yourself by selling out to the man. So I hope that you all learn to identify what's important to you, align with that energy that is really you, take the path of least resistance to that which benefits you most, and remember that we are all one with the Spirit, not because of the results of our own handiwork, but because Spirit made us that way. So if you still don't feel it, humble yourself and ask Spirit to break down any wall or partition between you and Spirit. Have a great day.